ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome into our Tuesday, June 25th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show. We're going to get your text in this hour. We do that at 304-396-TALK. It's 304-396-8255. It is a Hot Take Tuesday, so your best hot takes are welcome throughout the show. Coming up today on the program in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Abby Beeman. Of course, you know Abby, former standout, Marshall women's basketball. She is now signed with a team overseas. Are you ready for this? Get ready to learn how to pronounce this. I'm not sure if I want to. I don't know if I want to tackle this. I really don't know if I want to tackle this or not. But it is out of the Iceland's Zhee-Vah League. I'm going to get Abby to pronounce this for us. I hate this when they go overseas and I've never heard of these leagues before. And Hamar-Thor, I believe, is the league that she is going to be in. We're going to get the correct pronunciation from her in the next few minutes. So she's joining us on the program, and of course, we're going to get you caught up in everything that's happening. The herd's getting bigger. Of course, the herd's always getting bigger. Couple of additions to the herd. We'll run that down for you. We've got Coldcats baseball coming up tonight. They're going to be in action shortly. And if you want to follow those road games, you can do so over on the Tri-State Coldcats website. It'll take you right there. Every game home and away is going to be video streamed on the website. And, of course, the home games also broadcast right here on the radio. So, video stream tonight over at the website. It is going to be the Coldcats taking on the Bristol State Liners. Later this evening, action in the Appalachian League will feature Elizabethton taking on Bluefield. It'll be Johnson City taking on Pulaski. Danville faces off against Burlington. And Greenville will face off against Kingsport. Of course, yesterday, off day for the league, so nothing changes with the standings. The Coldcats are next to last in this league. They're 7-9. They're going to get this thing turned around. Obviously, they play better on the road. I don't know why. They play better on the road for some reason. 7-9, though. That's not that far from 10-6. Danville leads the Appalachian League East Division. Of course, those first two teams in each division, first and second place, get to go to the postseason, which is something nice for both the East and West teams trying to play for. If you can get into those top two spots, you get to play for the championship. So a lot of work still to be done. We've got a few more days in June. We got all of July to see where the Coldcats end up. And, of course, they'll be back in action coming up this weekend. We'll have those games for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Something else we're going to be talking about today. Of course, yesterday was the Stanley Cup Final, and a lot of hype for this, more so than I can remember in a long time. And I've seen national media and I've listened to national media talk about the Stanley Cup a lot today. If you are a new viewer to the Stanley Cup and you decided, okay, I'm going to tune that in. I hear Paul talk about it all the time. I'm going to give that a chance. And you tuned in and you watched that game and you're still not a hockey fan. I don't know what to do for you. I don't think I can convince you to be a hockey fan. I'm not going to try to. But that was a tremendous game. And the Conn Smythe goes to the player on the losing team, which a lot of people are here. Hot take here. Don't think that should happen. But Connor McDavid on Edmonton, best player in the league right now. He's the face of the league. Possible future Gretzky, I don't know, but he's the best player right now. He's the face of Edmonton. He's the face of the league. And he forces this to a Game 7 with sheer will. He was able to help that team dig out of a 3-0 deficit, and he wins the Conn Smythe. He wins the MVP, so he's the most valuable player. A lot of people think it should have went to Sergei Bobrovsky. I think that's a valid argument as well. But Florida winning its first Stanley Cup, and that was an exciting series. So did you watch that last night? And if you did, what did you take away from it? If you're a newer fan, if you're a first-time fan, if that was just something, it was on ABC, and I thought they did a fantastic job. It's going back to TNT next season for the Stanley Cup, but I thought ABC did a fantastic job top to bottom, and I think the sport's growing a lot more. And those were two really good teams going at it. So a lot of buzz on that. Of course, those of you who listen to the program, you know we give our news director, Bill Cornwell, a lot of grief sometimes. We don't mean it. He's just fun to mess with because he's Bill Cornwell. He's fun because Bill has this undying love for sports. Not just his team, everybody else's team. So he was congratulating the Florida Panthers on social media yesterday, and I kind of reminded him, look, man, that's all great, but you're a New York Rangers fan. That's the team that just eliminated our team. And can you do the hot take? Can you root for the team that eliminated your team? Hot take. No, you cannot. I don't care. That is not happening. Now, if you want to have a rooting interest, like, okay, I'm interested in this game, I'm going to watch it, and I would rather this team win. If one team's got to win, I'd rather this team win over the other team. For example, if it gets to the Super Bowl, I'll take the AFC champion over the NFC champion, unless it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then all bets are off. I'm not taking the NFC champion unless it's a situation where it's the 49ers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then I'm just going to turn my TV off. You can tell me about it later. That would be a nightmare matchup. The 49ers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would just absolutely be done with football if one of those two teams were playing for the Super Bowl and winning it. But with that said, hot take. Do you root for other teams? If your team got eliminated, do you pull for the other team that eliminated your team? Hot take. No. You don't do that. There's none of that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. And do you congratulate, say, for example, JMU beats Marshall to go to the Sun Belt Conference Championship game and then wins the conference championship game. Do you congratulate them? No, I'm not hearing that. I'm not here for that noise. Absolutely not. You don't congratulate them. No. And you're wrong if you say you do. So we're going to talk about what's happening today. A lot of things to catch up with, but we'll hear from Abby Beeman in a few minutes. I want to get her on the show. Abby joins us in the next few minutes. We'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Introducing In Your Business, a podcast highlighting thriving Huntington area businesses. Presented by Moses Auto Mall. Online at mosesmeansmore.com. In Your Business tells the story of Huntington's successes and where you can gain invaluable insights and advice from seasoned entrepreneurs. Produced by Kindred Communications and the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce. Find it on kindredcom.net, huntingtonchamber.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Did you know September 11th is a National Day of Service? We invite you to be kind with Volunteer West Virginia, because every mountaineer has the power to make a difference. Join in our statewide Day of Service, whether it's lending a hand or spreading kindness. In West Virginia, every mountaineer is a volunteer. Visit volunteer.wv.gov to find a volunteer opportunity near you. Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, June 25th edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So good news, we found out yesterday that Marshall standout Abby Beeman signing with Hamar-Thor, team in Iceland. So she's getting ready for her professional career. She joins us now on the program. Abby, thanks for doing this once again, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on yet again.
What do you know about your new team and your new league? What can you tell us that we don't know?
There's a lot of new and still like a lot of unknown for me, but I know that the team is only going to have one American on it, and that's going to be me. It's a competitive league, which is a reason why I chose it. They like to play fast pace, kind of like I like to play as well. For this Marshall fans that got to watch me, and then the team, a very good team. The Iceland girls on the team. There's two of them actually going to play Division I basketball in the United States from last year's team. So there is a good amount of talent on it, and I'm just excited to meet everyone and get started.
What do you hope your path is once you get there and you get yourself established? What are you looking for out of this opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously want to kind of leave my mark on their program and the team as best as I can. And then hopefully, I always want to win no matter what it is. So my goal is just going to be to win every game, hopefully win the league, and then see what we can do from there. But, I just put an emphasis on winning. When you win, it takes everything else. So I'm just going to be the best basketball player I can be, and then also put the team first.
What will the transition be like for you as you go to a different country? It's not like going to a different school, different state. It's going to a different country to play basketball. So what do you anticipate the challenges are going to be for you as you get up to speed, not only with the style of play, the game, but the culture, the country itself?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of challenges ahead, both on and off the court. But, I love a good challenge, so I'm looking forward to it. But, just kind of adapting to their culture, like you said, that's going to be different. And then also just adapting to how they play basketball over there. It's a different brand of basketball in Europe, and you're playing against some girls who are a good bit older tme and who have been playing over there for a while. So I anticipate the league to be very, very physical, and I'm going to have to learn how to handle that.
Can you expand on a little bit? You mentioned just now physical, but is it more of a perimeter game? Is it more of an inside game? What would it look like to someone who maybe hasn't watched it before?
Yeah, definitely. So every team's different, every league's different, but the team I'll be playing for specifically, they like to shoot threes and get mid-range shots, as well as driving for open shots. So it's not like a completely pound the ball into the post. At least we're not. Now I know some teams and some teams I talk to are kind of like to feed their post players a lot. Certainly that's a factor, but there's a lot of threes that'll go up and some mid-range game, probably a little bit more mid-range game than there is over here. But, yeah, it'll be a new style of basketball, and I think it'll be a fun style for anyone who wants to watch.
What do you think the cultural challenges are going to be for you as far as will there be a difficulty with the language barrier? Will there be a difficulty in communicating with your coaching staff, with your teammates? How do you How do they address that with you as far as, okay, this is how we handle it? I mean, will English be spoken, primarily? Will there be allowances for players like yourself? How does that work?
Yeah, those are all good questions I had to ask as well. But, the one thing I really like about this team and this league specifically is, the coaches in English, practices, timeouts, all that stuff, and then all the girls on the team are fluent in English as well. Of course, they're going to speak like Icelandic among each other when they're talking to each other, but they're all speak English and can understand it. So the coaches in English, which is going to be like huge for me. I do know like some other teams, like their coach doesn't speak English. A girl on the team is responsible for translating it to, the American or whoever does speak English on the team. So that's going to be, really good for me to just kind of not have that language barrier at first. And then there's going to be other things to adapt to, probably their language, their verbiage, how they coach. But as far as English goes, I think I'll be pretty good there.
Abby Beeman's with us. She has joined Hamar-Thor in Iceland professional basketball team. What were some of the questions you asked?
Oh boy, a ton about off the court, and then also on the court. There's all the things as far as, like you said, the language barrier, and then just like the off the court situation as far as housing goes. Am I going to have my own car? All the little things that people might not think of that play a big part in it.
My guess is Abby Beeman. She's going to be playing in Iceland now. So were there other leagues you were looking at as well, or was this one you targeted among some of the opportunities?
Yeah, there was a few different countries that I was looking at teams in, but this just, it's kind of not like college. Teams don't wait around and see if you're going to choose them. If you don't pick that team, and they're basically just on to the next person. So it's kind of a risk to turn down an offer and just hope that you get another one. But I eventually landed on this one, and I'm really happy with it.
So you don't feel like this was a situation where, okay, I better take this now. You felt like you had some choice in the matter.
Yeah, and I think like that's just me and just having faith in that the situation would work out. Some people do kind of panic and just take like the first offer they get, but I wanted to be patient and just find something that didn't feel uneasy to me and something that kind of felt the right fit all the way around, and I'm lucky to have found that, because I very easily could have kept passing up offers and then not finding one that I like.
Abby Beeman's with us. She'll be playing with Hamar-Thor. It's in Iceland. Who'd you lean on when you were trying to make this decision? Did you get in touch with Coach Caldwell? Did you talk to a few other people, maybe in your inner circle? Who'd you reach out to maybe get this settled and make the right decision?
Yes, actually, I know like a few people who have played overseas. Some of them, my old teammates. So reached out to them, and then actually Coach Angel, who was on the staff last year, joined Coach Kim in Tennessee. She worked for the same agency that I did when she played overseas. So she was able to give me some pretty good advice. And then, as far as like my family and stuff goes, they don't really know much about, overseas basketball and stuff. So they're just there to support me no matter what decision I make. But, I did have a good amount of people who have played and know the ways over there, some little things they could fill me in on.
Now, people are going to be curious how to watch these games, how to follow along. What do you know? I mean, am I going to be able to pull up ESPN Plus or maybe in the middle of the night and watch you play? What do you know?
Yeah, so I need to figure out a better answer for you. I do know they're streaming, but that's about where my knowledge ends with that. But once I find out, I do plan to let everyone know who's interested, because I've had quite a few people ask.
What are the crowd like? If you've checked this league out, pretty passionate. Iceland, you don't think necessarily of college basketball or pro basketball from the country of Iceland, but it's pretty big over there in the European nations.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't specifically check out the crowd stuff, but I do know that they have a good following. And since it is pretty cold over there, especially in the winter and basketball season, I know a lot of their fans like to get in the gym and watch some basketball in the warmth. So, I'm expecting a good fan base. Hopefully, I can have an impact on them and get to interact with them like I did with the Marshall community.
Okay, so we need to know all the important things, like as far as what's the mascot? Do we know? What do we call you now?
I don't know if they have a mascot, actually. I don't know. That is a great question. But, if I find out that one, you're giving me a bunch of questions I got to ask now. So
what do we call ourselves? Right, yeah. Like, hey, what do we call ourselves? Yeah, I was part of the Thundering Herd. Now, what am I part of now? Is this, and are we saying Hamar-Thor right? I've been practicing this a lot.
Yeah, to my knowledge, that's kind of how the coach said it. So I think you're pretty spot on.
So what do you do between now and August? Because you're leaving for your new team in August. The regular season begins in October. It goes through March, followed by the playoffs. Teams play, about twice a week. So, what's your final prep look like before you leave the States and head over?
Yeah, just spending the summer kind of just working my tail off and trying to get better. Trying to get stronger physically, like I already mentioned, to handle the strength and some of the physicality that I'll be playing. But, just get in the gym, stay in the gym. This is, like, my job now, so it's important that they have faith that I go over there and perform, so I got to put the work in before I even get over there to make sure that I'm good to go and that I'm everything that.
You going to be doing that closer to home, or you're going to, you're going to try to come back to, Marshall, get opportunities to work at various places? What's that regiment look like?
Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to kind of soak in my time with my family, but I would love to get back up to Marshall at least for a little bit and maybe get a workout or two in.
Have you talked to Coach Folks or Coach Caldwell, kind of get a feel for where they're at? Did you get a chance to talk much to Coach Folks as she took over the program after Coach Caldwell left?
No, I've not got a chance to talk to her, actually, but obviously I'm, connected to Marshall for life now, and she's a new leader of the program. It's definitely someone that, I want to get in contact with and just, kind of build that relationship as an alumni now. But Coach Kim, obviously we've talked, we've chatted. She congratulated me, so that's a relationship that I'll have for life now too.
So you've got access to Tennessee now. You got access to Marshall. So really, you got access to a lot of places.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of places out there, but those are two good ones.
Definitely two good ones. Our guest is Abby Beeman, signing a professional contract. She is playing for Hamar-Thor. It is the league known as the, and again, help me here, Zhee-Vah League.
I think good enough.
Good enough. That makes me happy. I'll take that. Good enough. Who do you know over there? You mentioned maybe some familiarity. Who's over there that maybe we've heard of or we might know?
I don't know of anyone that you would know of, but since there is only one American allowed on the court at a time, it's kind of difficult for me to kind of relate to any of them in that way. But there was a crew who played at, if you're familiar, called Tarleton University in the United States, Division I. But she reached out to me. She's from the UK, I believe. So she's a European that'll be playing over there. So I've had some contact with her. So it's kind of good that, I at least know or have prior contact to one familiar face.
So brand new setting for you, so you'll be learning a lot of new names, a lot of new situations. What are you most excited for? Is it just the opportunity to go to a new place, a new country, the opportunity to continue your career, a little bit of both, or something else completely different?
Yeah, there's so much to be excited for. I think first and foremost, it's important to just say that I wouldn't be going to another country if I wasn't passionate about basketball, and I'm kind of giving up a lot to go play basketball, but it's really, my passion, and I love playing. I'm not ready to give that. I'm most excited to get to focus fully on basketball now, and I don't have to worry about school on the side. That was nice. And then, so like you said, though, I get to travel for free, so you can't really beat that. Get to experience a new culture, something I've never experienced. So there's going to be a lot of learning curves, but, I'm ready for it.
You mentioned you had to give up. What'd you have to give up?
Just family time, seeing, my little ones, my family grow up. I know I'm only going to be over there for a few months, but like 8-ish months, but a lot happens in that little time. So just the little moments that you're going to miss back here in the States. But Also could be starting, another career, but I love basketball, and like I said before, I'm not ready to stop playing yet. So sacrifice, but also I think I'm doing the right thing.
Is this the pathway you hope for WNBA, or are you just looking to be the best you can be wherever you're at?
I just take it day by day, honestly. I've learned that looking too far into the future doesn't really do me any good. So just try to get better every single day. And then, when the time comes and I have to make a decision like that, then hopefully I'll be prepared for it.
Now, how'd you get so wise beyond your years on that? How'd that come to be?
Hey, a lot of lessons learned the hard way, that's for sure.
Abby Beeman is with us. What are you going to miss the most other than family time and, of course, those relationships you're going to be leaving behind? Is there something you're going to miss? I don't know. You can get Netflix in Iceland, I'm sure, but is there something that you're going to miss and you're going to want when you come back?
Oh, well, I feel like this answer isn't too deep, but I'm a super picky eater, so I'm kind of been uneasy about that. But I think I'm going to miss some food over here. So when I come back, I'm sure I'll have some cravings that you can only get here in the States.
Okay, you're a West Virginia girl, so I know pepperoni rolls are on that list, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's a staple.
Yeah, you should have those sent over. You could introduce your new teammates to the pepperoni roll.
Hey, you're right. I can put them on the pepperoni rolls. They can show me something else.
I like it. Abby Beeman is with us. She has signed a deal. She is going to be playing professional basketball with Hamar-Thor in Iceland. Her season will get underway in October. She'll be leaving in August. She'll be there through March. Then, of course, the playoffs where she'll be hoisting another championship trophy. Should be fun. Congratulations. That's going to be an amazing journey for you. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Abby. Oh, by the way, do you know your number yet? I don't want that to slip. What number are we getting you?
I don't know my number yet, but I would love to keep 4. It's just kind of been my number ever since high school. So, yeah, but I can.
Okay, you should make sure that your people negotiate that. Like, look, okay,
You're right. I forgot to add that in there.
Yeah, she needs number 4, and she's going to need a nice car.
Exactly.
Abby, good luck. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Hey, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
That's Abby Beeman. Of course, you know her outstanding career at Marshall University. She's one of those players that the transfer portal brought her to Marshall. She made a impact at Marshall. She played Division II Shepherd. Then she comes to Marshall. She plays for Tony Kemper. She stays, plays for Kim Caldwell, wins a conference championship, not only regular season, but also the tournament title, gets to go to the NCAA tournament. That's an experience she never had before. Gets that. Now she has an opportunity to play professional basketball. Maybe there's an opportunity in the future for her to come back home, but playing overseas is not necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of good basketball being played. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the WNBA. There's a lot of leagues overseas that are probably just as good, if not better, than what we have sometimes domestically. Of course, a lot of players in the NBA draft will be coming from overseas as well. There's a lot of talent across the globe, and of course, this helps grow the game as basketball. And Abby, I think she'll fit in just nicely. Let's get your text in. We'll do that. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It is a Hot Take Tuesday, after all. We'll get your hot takes when we continue on this edition of The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Metro News Sports. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Mercado. Over the last 24 hours, the WVU football program received 2 more verbal commitments for their next 2 recruiting classes. Late Monday, class of 2026 quarterback Brody McWhorter gave his pledge to become a Mountaineer. McWhorter hails from Cartersville, Georgia. He holds over 20 scholarship offers and is listed as a 4-star recruit according to the 24/7 Sports recruiting service. McWhorter is the second commit to WVU's class of 2026. This morning, another class of 2025 recruit announced his plans to join the Mountaineers. Evan Powell is a defensive lineman from Huntingtown, Maryland. He's a 3-star recruit and is the 20th verbal commitment for next year's recruiting class. 2 more non-conference games have been added to the WVU men's basketball schedule. West Virginia will host UMass on Friday, November 8th. And on December 10th, WVU will host North Carolina Central. Former WVU guard Chase Harlow will serve as the general manager and head coach of the WVU alumni basketball team Best Virginia as they compete in the basketball tournament next month in Pittsburgh. Harlow replaces James Long, who was recently named the head coach at the University of Charleston.
All these guys, when they get to the professional level, expand their offensive game so they're not just what they were at WVU, and that can relate to almost every player on our roster. So it's kind of a cool thing to bring these guys back and see how much better they got.
You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping me save more money on prescription drug costs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is $0 and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $23,000 a year or married couples who make less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out. Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm Eddie Carter, Senior Project Manager for Civil and Environmental Consultants. As a lifelong West Virginian, it's been great to see companies expanding with key locations in West Virginia. CEC partners with these organizations, helping navigate what could otherwise be a complex endeavor. Our team manages the complete life cycle of your project from site acquisition to redevelopment and every step in between. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you at wearecec.com.
Remembrances continue to pour in for recent Philip Barber High School graduate and football standout Keaton McDermott. The lineman, affectionately known as Beef, died in an automobile accident on Sunday.
Not supposed to say you have favorites, but Beef was definitely a favorite. He did everything you asked him to do and above and beyond. He led on the field, off the field.
That's Philip Barber head coach Nick Mail. Check out his Sportsline interview in its entirety at WVMetroNews.com. For Metro News Sports, good afternoon. I'm Joe Mercado.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We got our text line open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Some new additions to the Thundering Herd. Marshall, of course, closing the gap, getting bigger. We're trusting the process, everything that goes along with football. So Marshall picked up, first of all, John Wetzel. Let's talk about him. He is a safety, listed also as a quarterback. 6'1", 200-pounder. 3-star recruit, class of 2025, is out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and his accolades are he's a first-team All-Stater, first-team All-Conference DB, and APG. Has some offers from Robert Morris, Monmouth, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, Kent State, Delaware, Old Dominion, Temple, Akron, Lehigh, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Boston College. So some additions there to the lineup Also, the Thundering Herd picking up Jack Laird. And he is an offensive lineman. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. Wait till BA gets a hold of him. Class of 2025. He's out of Columbia, South Carolina, from Cardinal Newman High School. He was part of the state championship winning wrestling team. So if you want to lock up with him, you're in trouble. He received offers from Brown, Gardner-Webb, Arkansas State's looking at him, Allen University, Murray State, the Citadel. Remember when Marshall played the Citadel? I used to look forward to that game, Marshall and the Citadel. So he committed to the Thundering Herd. And then the last one that Marshall picked up is E.J. McAdams. He's a linebacker. He's 6'1". He's 205 pounds. He is out of West Orange High School, New Jersey. He had offers from UMass, Syracuse, Fordham. Stony Brook even looked at him, to name a few. Monmouth was looking at him. Temple probably rings a little bit more to your ear. Army was looking at him. Navy, Delaware State, Townsend. So those are some of the schools that were looking at the latest additions to the Thundering Herd. So Marshall getting bigger, trusting the process, and of course the transfer portal giveth, it taketh away as well. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. How do you feel Coach Huff's doing so far with some of the additions you're seeing? Of course, you're always optimistic. You're always optimistic about kids that Marshall brings in, either through the transfer portal or through the high school ranks. How do you feel so far just on reputation alone, what you know of these kids, what you've seen, your early impressions? Is Coach Huff getting this where it needs to be? And, of course, it's hard to evaluate because kids come in, kids go all the time. That's why the spring game is almost meaningless to me now. And it's beneficial for the kids that are staying, but for the kids that are not staying, I guess it's a way to, okay, here's who we're keeping and here's who's staying, and then here's who's not sticking around. We kind of weed them out. Here's who's just not making the cut, or here's what they need to work on if they want to make the cut. And it gives the coaches an opportunity to say, okay, you can stay, but you're not going to play. And the kid has that understanding. And for a lot of kids, it's an opportunity for them maybe to build their resume up and get to somewhere where they can play. And money comes into this as well. But what do we get to the point where scholarships are going to be taken care of? You might have roster limits. There might be roster limits, but everyone's going to be taken care of with a scholarship or money. And, of course, that's where the Thunder Trust will come in to help boost that name, image, and likeness. And Marshall might be able to retain players in the future because there could be a time where, okay, it's going to be more of a roster limit, but scholarships are going to be taken care of. Everybody gets a scholarship, or everybody gets money. Everybody gets the financial option. So they can take care of school, or based off of what opportunities are out there, they can have a little bit more. And again, Marshall's not going to be able to compete with the power schools out of the Big Ten and the SEC. But I'm sure Marshall can come up with something a little creative, a little bit more enticing. And let's be honest, there are going to be some opportunities there where Marshall's just going to be able to win because they want the educational option. A lot of these kids are not here just for the money. A lot of these kids are here for the playing time. A lot of these kids are here actually for, believe it or not, there are kids who want to further their education, and this is an opportunity for them. So that's where the recruiting battles continue. And that's why we can't really judge anything right now. We don't know. Absolutely do not know. All right, text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll update you on everything that's happening the rest of the way when we continue. Heard that announcing today, in addition to the roster, Tyrus McGee played for Iowa State and various European teams. There's going to be a bracket announced tomorrow. So the bracket's coming out. We'll find out a little bit more what the path looks like for the million. Marshall women's basketball getting its first official practice underway, so everything is happening. And with the soccer team, of course, I don't know if this is up your alley, but if you want to see what the new soccer kits look like, there's going to be an event at the market downtown Huntington to unveil the new kits, and it's also going to be a fundraiser because tickets are going to be $100 for this, and it's going to include a replica jersey, and there's also going to be a ring ceremony. So rings are going to be presented, replica jerseys, $100, going to be a fundraiser opportunity for you to see what the new soccer kits look like. More details, head over to Herd Zone for that. We'll wrap this one up, and we'll get your text in on our Hot Take Tuesday when we continue here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Get in the groove. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West 9th Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua's Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's Bernie's RV Rental Adventures Night with Of the Dell. Music starts at 7 on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for Friday, August 2nd, when 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 16th. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford, every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington, between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity, and Kendrick Communications.
You know how you love Wendy's Frosty more than any other Frosty in the world? Well, it's easy because nobody else sells a Frosty, but that's not the point. What if I told you there's a triple berry Frosty? Well, surprise! I'm telling you right now, it's the next great Frosty flavor from Wendy's. It's a whole new look and taste just for the summer. New triple berry Frosty just in time for summer? It's gotta be Wendy's, even midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Final segment, today's edition of The Drive for this Hot Take Tuesday. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. If you've been following along the high school scene in the Tri-State, you might have heard by now that Ashland boy basketball star Xander Carter turned down what would have been a really good chunk of change. And instead of taking that money, he's going to stay with Ashland for his senior season. So if you follow along this previous season, the Tomcats were one of the best teams in the state of Kentucky. Could have went to the championship game, lost to the eventual champion, and it was a tremendous game. Dickie Martin had the call of that game and have all those Tomcat games on Cat Sports in 93.3 and 1340. So Carter declines $100,000. It was an offer made to him. He would have had the opportunity to play with Overtime Elite, and that's an Atlanta-based developmental program. And a lot of players that have potential to maybe make it at the next level and be a standout, they'll get offers like this. But instead, Carter declined the offer. So, hot take here, take the money. Now, do you take the money or do you stay with your high school team? Now, he's going to stay in Ashland. He's going to be a king. He's going to be the big man on campus. Let's just go ahead and call it right now. He's going to be the big man on campus. He might even be such a powerful figure this season, he could get the roundabouts removed in Ashland. That's how influential he might be. For one, having such a prolific career so far, and two, turning down what is a nice chunk of change for a lot of individuals to stay in Ashland. He turned the money down. Now, for a lot of kids, they would take that money. You take $100,000? Someone came up to you and said, hey, we want you to come play basketball for us for your senior season. $100,000, we'll give you that. You're taking that, right? I'm taking that money. Our producer, Ben Anderson's not taking that money. He's sticking around because he's loyal. He's loyal. I'm taking the money. Absolutely. 1 year, okay, I get to go to Atlanta. 1 year, $100,000. I'm taking the money. But he might have figured this out. Maybe it's not about the money. He has a tremendous season in Ashland. He gets a lot of buzz. Maybe he wants to go play for Kentucky. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else. But if you generate a lot of buzz and you maybe go win a state championship, maybe a state championship's more important to him. Like, look, I want to win a championship for Ashland. Whatever his ultimate reasons are, at the end of the day, as he probably went through this thought process, do I stay? Do I take this money? I think, honestly, he is going to be revered for a long time to come, because you make a decision like this and your community, some people in your community might say, hey, take the cash. But at the end of the day, he decided, hey, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to play basketball. So that's a good get, kind of a good get. That's a good keep for the Ashland Tomcats. They're a pretty good basketball team. They were really good last season. They might have it in them to make another run. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So, every day we're getting set for, again, we're trying to make the age a little younger on this show. We're trying to young this show up. We're doing what Marshall's doing. We're taking a page out of the playbook of Ryan Crisp. We're trying to young this place up. And EA Sports College Football 25, toughest places to play. Marshall's not on the list. Mountaineer Field is not on the list. Number 4, Ohio Stadium for Ohio State on the list. So Marshall's got to go to the 4th toughest place to play in college football according to EA Sports College Football 25. 4th toughest. the 3 tougher places, Kyle Field for Texas A&M, Alabama, Tiger Stadium for LSU. Number 5 is Georgia, Stanford Stadium. Another stadium that has been named as a top 25 stadium. You look at the Marshall schedule, and you think to yourself, well, could it be Virginia Tech? Could Virginia Tech be a top 25 tough destination? Well, you would be right. Lane Stadium was ranked 17th. So Lane Stadium, 17th toughest stadium in college football, according to EA Sports College Football 25. So Coach Huff has got to go and get a win in the 4th and 17th toughest places to play in the country. The 25th toughest place to play, by the way, if you're going to look at the list, is Mississippi State. Boise State's 24th toughest. A place Marshall's actually won in, Notre Dame Stadium, is 21st toughest. Michigan was only 16th. So let me get this straight. Ohio State's 4th and Michigan Stadium's 16th. That's not going to set well. Penn State's 6th. Let's see what else. Tennessee is 13th. So that's kind of a look at the top 25. And, of course, with the video game coming out, they're revealing every day things like toughest places to play, power rankings, all of that. Game coming out next month. And then if you've got a kid who loves video games and college football, you won't see them for a while. Our intern, we will probably not see him. He's going to be bringing his Xbox to work, probably trying to hook it up to one of our monitors here, and he's going to call it game research show prep. Paul, that's what that is, show prep. Baseball last night, the Reds beat the Pirates 11-5. Game 2 of the series coming up tonight, 6:45 airtime right here from Great American Ballpark on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Guardians get the victory over the Orioles 3-2. Game 2 tonight. That's coming up at 6:35 in Baltimore. And, of course, as we mentioned, the Colecats are in action, taking on Bristol. You can follow along with that action on the Colecats website. Charleston taking on the Lexington Legends. That's coming up tonight, 6:35. We'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as we will be talking a little bit about something that has been plaguing officials across youth sports and high school sports. There's not enough officials. These people are overworked. These people are probably understaffed. And, of course, then there's you and me. We never agree with them except when it's a call for our team. So, you ever thought you could do it better? You ever thought that you could go out there and you could be an official and you could do it better? We're going to give you an opportunity to prove that. We're going to give you an opportunity to maybe find your way as an official. We'll be talking to Dave Rydell tomorrow. He'll tell us more about that. And that's on our Wednesday edition. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm your host, Paul Swann. For our producer, Ben Anderson, this has been The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. If you missed any part of today's show, don't forget you can go back and catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, don't forget, you can always catch our new daily feature. It's called The Morning Drive. It's a daily look at sports across the tri-state, including high school, Marshall, anything that interests me and, of course, you. You'll hear it. It's bite-sized edition of The Drive every morning. And we air it 11:03 on the morning side. And, of course, if you missed that, you can catch it by searching on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. The Morning Drive with Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Good night, everyone.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.